Okay, so here we are back again in After Effects. We're still working with some motion tracking and, camera tracking. And we're going to do some stuff with a null object now and see how null objects can be very helpful when trying to track different angles and different parts of a scene. In the last video, we created a solid, and then we nested or pre-comped a solid and placed an image in that pre-comp and things like that. So we're going to do something a little bit similar, but yet slightly different. Let's take a look and see how a null object can be very useful. Let's jump in. Okay, here we are in After Effects, and I'm going to select my footage like last time, grab my 3D camera tracker effect up here, and you can see all of these different effects. So I am going to try to map the bleachers, this diagonal spot here. Let's see. Now I could, find a spot. Actually, that's pretty close right there. Let's go ahead and use this one. I'm just going to click there, and you can see it's selected 3 points. And I'm going to right-click on my target, and I'm going to say Create Null. Okay. Now you can see it created this null. There's nothing there. It's just a null object, right? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my tiger PNG that I found online. So I'm just going to drop this in below my null object. It doesn't matter where it is on the composition. I'm just going to put it next to my null object. Before we do anything else with this tiger head, I do need to make it 3D. So I'm going to come down to the bottom here, toggle my switches quick, and make that 3D. Oh, but where did it go? It's way over here. Well, we're going to fix that in just a second. So now let's go to, we're going to look at the position, and let's expand out our transform on the null, because we're going to use a couple different things from the null to apparent the tiger 2. So in fact, let's expand both of them out. There we go. So we've got transform and everything in the transform for the null and everything there. So just like we parented stuff in the last assignment that we did at the end of the first semester, let's go ahead and click on, hold down Alt, or we could use the pick whip tool here. And we're going to say position. I'm going to pick whip the position from my tiger and drag it up to the position of my null and release. And now it's kind of over there, right? But it's still not quite right. Let's look at the orientation. We haven't looked at this yet, but we're going to use this information to help us out. So we're going to grab the pick whip next to orientation and drag that up and connect that to orientation of our track null and release that. Now you can see it's found that angle of our bleachers. And to see this a little bit better, I'm going to grab the scale of my tiger and scale that up like so, as if it was almost painted on, right? Next thing we could do then, of course, is adjust, go toggle my switches again, adjust the blending options here. So let's say, let's try overlay, see what that looks like. Yeah, kind of like that, right? Not bad at all. Okay, so let's see what that did. If I come back to the beginning, push play. So let's see what that did. I come back to the beginning, I'll push play. And look at that. Looks like it was painted right below the bleachers. That's pretty cool, right? So that's a way to use the null object to get some really cool, quick, and really cool effects by utilizing that orientation or the angle of that plane that we created by grabbing the target, right? Instead of just using a point, we used a target that was based off of 3 points to grab that plane in 3D space. All right. In the next and final video, we're going to look at the light and shadow catcher effect and see how we can utilize that maybe in our scene a little bit too to further our composition. I'll see you there.